Truma, makers of the Combi heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV.
Welcome to Practical Motorhome TV, your one-stop shop for everything motor caravan. I'm Niall Hampton, and on this week's show we'll be reviewing some hot sites and vans, plus receiving some technical wisdom from our expert Diamond Dave. Now, it's a little bit warm outside, so we've decided to bring things indoors for once. Hope you don't mind the change. Now, just like Alistair on Practical Caravan TV, I too went to Louisville. Welcome to Louisville in the USA, birthplace of Muhammad Ali, home of the old-fashioned cocktail, the Louisville Slugger baseball bats, Louisville Cardinals basketball team, go-karts, and of course Kentucky Fried Chicken, hence why I'm standing outside the KFC Yum Center. But the real reason we're here, of course, is to attend the RVIA show. That's the Recreational Vehicle Industry of America. They have an annual convention here at the Kentucky Convention and Expo Center, where there'll be plenty of motorhomes built on rather fine truck chassis like this one. But first, here's something that looks familiar to European tastes. Think Fiat Ducato, Peugeot Boxer, and Citroen Relay. But over here in North America, it's the Dodge Ram. And whereby in Europe we may have a 2.2 or a 2.3 litre engine, over here it's a whopping 3,500 with a fully automatic gearbox. Yeehaw! And here you can see a Dodge Ram underpinning a panel van conversion, or Type B motorhome as they're known here in the US. This is the Zion SRT by Canadian manufacturer Roadtrek. All very familiar to European eyes on the outside, you may be thinking, but on the inside there are some significant differences. Now, when I first saw the layout, I thought this was a walk-in wardrobe, but how wrong I was. I opened the door to reveal the washroom, and a very fine thing it is too, with a swivel loo on the left-hand side and a vanity unit sink on the right. And the configuration at the rear of the van is interesting too. You have a midships kitchen with a fridge on one side and a transverse mounted sofa which converts into a bed. All very clever stuff. But Roadtrek doesn't just convert on the Dodge Ram. As you can see, it also utilizes the Mercedes Sprinter, which is a very popular vehicle in North American motorhome conversions, especially the Type Bs. But this is not the only German offering at the show by any means. Now, here's a name we're very familiar with in Europe. Yes, it's Hymer, and they are now in North America. Earlier in the year they acquired Roadtrek, so now they have a ready-made entree into this particular market. And as you can see, this kind of vehicle is something we're very familiar with in Europe. But over here it is German designed, German engineered, and now available in America. So let's see what's inside this particular example. So as you can see, it looks quite familiar to the European observer. A kitchen on the side here, a dinette at the front, moving backwards, the washroom on the side, and the transverse bed here that packs up out of the way to offer a route right through the vehicle. The fit and finish looks very good too, with that attention to detail that Hymer is famous for, right down to the stitching in the head supports on the seats. Roadtrek also converts on the Chevrolet Express, and its 210 popular model is certainly on the money. A comfortable rear lounge, well-appointed midships kitchen, and up front you get all the goodness of the Chevrolet base vehicle. But given Roadtrek's tie-up with Hymer, it asks an interesting question. How about a Hymer badge version of this particular Roadtrek coming to continental Europe? But you don't have to have a motorhome riding on a light commercial vehicle. How about getting something like a truck? Now, Freightliner does a specially altered version of one of its truck chassis specifically for the RV market. It has a modified fuel tank and suspension, and in case you're wondering about the engine, 6 litres and 360 horsepower. So what kind of motorhome would be built on one of these? And here we can see the Freightliner underpinning the Jayco Seneca, a Type C motorhome that's got some very interesting things going on the inside. Now we know an overcab motorhome has a certain amount of space, but when's the last time you saw one that has as much as this? And it's all courtesy of this massive slide out section here that opens up this enormous lounge. But there are a couple of other details that are interesting too. Don't just make do with a small fridge. In this particular vehicle you have a double fronted one. Fantastic for when you're spending a long time off-road, wherever you may end up in a campground or something like that. Now the American buyer takes entertainment very seriously. There are two sets inside and here one on the outside. Fantastic when you're spending so much time in and around a vehicle just like this. But these sets on the outside are fantastic because the whole family can gather around, watch some sports events or that kind of thing. Just that whole thing of being together. So have you ever wondered what kind of chassis underpins one of those enormous Type A motorhomes? Well, how about this? This is what actually goes underneath the Integra Insignia motorhome, and very impressive it is too. A 12-litre engine, 450 horsepower and a 100-gallon fuel tank. Very impressive in anyone's book. But they don't just go all about the grunt. There's some great refinement to the design too. Check out the accessibility of this service area so you can get to everything you need as quickly as possible. So what does the actual built-out version of this chassis actually look like? Now that Spartan chassis underpins the Integra Insignia, itself an entry-level motorhome from premium brand Integra. For $350,000 though, you do get a lot for your money, including those slide outs and other innovations to make there all the creature comforts, so you've got them on the road. But don't worry, your investment is also protected security-wise thanks to a very clever keyless entry system here, which uses different combinations on the keypad to open different sections of the vehicle. And how clever is that? Now here in Winnebago country they take their music very seriously, so any minute now a song is going to try and drown me out, so I'll try to be quick. There's been a little bit of disruption in the US base vehicle market for motorhomes now that Ford has joined the fray, but the choice is there. You can have Ford, Mercedes, Dodge and more, so it gives converters a great bit of stuff to get stuck into. And obviously with the Ford you get the benefit of the more powerful engines, 3.7 litre with very good fuel economy and the automatic transmission that we're going to be getting in Europe at some stage soon. So you can see why so many converters are starting to adopt the 8th generation Transit as a base vehicle for motorhomes. Now it's good to see the Ford Transit penetrating into some other vehicle classifications as well, because alongside the van conversions that we've just seen, how about this? Yes, a Type C motorhome with a brand new Ford Transit underneath it, and in this particular case, the Coachmen Orion. Now this development with the Ford Transit is super exciting for us European buyers. Why? Because we've got the automatic transmission that we're due to be getting at some stage soon. And speaking of the layout, that's very continentally influenced as well. Check out the dinette here in the midships, and at the back, nothing less than a French bed and corner washroom. And how about this for another Ford Transit van conversion, or as they say in the States, a Type B motorhome. This is the CrossFit from Coachmen that literally launched on the first day of the show and has caused a bit of a sensation already. You can see why. It's a very clever vehicle and immaculate underpinnings from that Ford Transit with a 3.7 litre engine and that automatic transmission once again. So what's actually going on inside? Let's have a quick look. Now once again we are encountering what we thought originally to be a walk-in wardrobe, but it is in fact the washroom. Open the door here for a fantastic view and access to the throne room. How good is that? On this side we have a very large kitchen with all the things that you would expect for busy cooks, some of them supplied by names familiar to us in Europe, Truma and Dometic. At the back of the van you have the sleeping quarters in this particular two-berth, parallel lounge seating that make up into a large double. And you can basically put your cocktail tables in the gangway when it's not being used, so perfect for sundowners. And for $99,000 I think this van is right on the money. Now the sheer size of some of the vehicles out here is quite breathtaking, and it's particularly hard for us in Europe to get our heads around this particular kind of vehicle. Just look at the conversion of the motorhome living quarters on the back of this flatbed pickup truck. Absolutely amazing inside and very well appointed. And what kind of base vehicle do you need to drag it all along? Well, how about a Ford F350 with a 6.7 litre engine? That should definitely do the trick. Now it would be remiss of us coming all the way to Louisville and not doing something on one of the biggest Winnebagos in the show. And how about this in the Journey range? A brand new model, the 40J, has a full-length slide out along the side of the vehicle that's so impressive it's had to have modifications to the superstructure just to accommodate it. So what does it give you? We find out that there's going to be a rather large master suite inside, so let's take a quick look. And what a master suite it is. As you can see, this is a proper island bed and a slide out section, so there is absolutely masses of room. And check out the entertainment system over here at the foot of the bed. But that's not all, because if you look at the other end of the vehicle, it's just as impressive. And what an amazing living space it is. Just look at the way that the kitchen unit comes in from the side of the vehicle with the slide out when it's retracted and comes in beautifully over that worktop. That's a fantastic piece of engineering by anyone's standards. Over here, perfect place for a romantic couple to have dinner together. And meanwhile at the front of the vehicle, this absolutely massive lounge and those captain's chairs that rotate so you can bring even more guests into the party. And if you're wondering what kind of engine you need for all this, then something about 450 horsepower should do the trick. Sadly, we've reached the end of our journey in Louisville this time around, and how apt that we've been able to do it in this fine Winnebago. This show is an amazing place to come to look at all the new innovations, design hacks, and the things that the Americans do so well, especially building big old buses just like this one and other things across the market. And the fact that the new base vehicle coming in with the Ford Transit is very exciting indeed.
Truma, makers of the Combi Heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV. Truma, makers of the Combi Heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV.
Welcome back. We're staying with the US theme for this week's show, but first we're going to visit somewhere closer to home, Wareham Forest Tourist Park, no less. If you're looking for Rolls-Royce standards from your motorhome holiday, then the 55-acre Wareham Forest Tourist Park might just be the place for you. With a 5-star rating from Visit England, 5 gold pennants from the AA, and regular appearances in our Top 100 Sites Guide, this Dorset Park has a lot to live up to.
We're very much a quiet family park. We don't have a bar, we don't have a restaurant, and we say that as a plus point. We're in a lovely part of the world. The Purbecks are a very beautiful location. We're located in Wareham Forest with the Seeker Trail behind us, recently seen on the Spring Watch and Autumn Watch on the BBC. Poole Harbour is 2.5 miles away as the crow flies, with the wonderful exploring there. As a park, we're really aiming to offer that friendly welcome, the good quality, high standard of toilet blocks and cleanliness, and wonderful facilities for everybody to enjoy.
Among its many facilities is a large and well-stocked shop, which features camping equipment in addition to essentials such as food and good quality, locally sourced wine. During the summer months, an on-site bakery also does a roaring trade, with bread and croissants delivered fresh every morning. Should you feel the need to burn off some of those extra calories, the site also has table tennis and an attractive heated outdoor swimming pool.
We happened upon it just by the fact that our original site couldn't accommodate us, so we came here and we've never looked back. It's a quiet site, nice sized pitches, it's absolutely super access for anywhere along the coast and inland. And in the summer, it absolutely excels with all the flowers, wildlife around. Great, really, superb.
The park offers pitches for all sizes of motorhome, from smaller camper vans to giant 36-foot American-style RVs, and the entrance is designed to accommodate even the widest of vehicles. When our cameras visited the park, the superior pitches were closed off, but the site is open all year, and in the summertime they offer mains water, drainage and TV points, plus a real connection with wildlife, because the local Sika deer often come to graze in these fields. As you expect in a park like this, the toilets and wash blocks are immaculate, with underfloor heating and a high standard of fittings throughout. There's a separate family washroom with baby bath, a coin-operated launderette with an iron for your use, and a motorhome service point, where you can top up on fresh water, plus empty your chemical toilets and grey waste. Next to that is a great little touch for pet owners, a dog wash area with warm running water, one of the many dog-friendly features that the likes of Pip here very much appreciate.
There's two main nature walks, which she knows off by heart. She loves them. She can take us on those walks. But also we go out into the forest, which is big trails there.
And if you go over in that direction, there is an actual field where you can let them off so they can run, and it's all fenced in so they can't escape.
Kids are well catered for too, with a large well-kept play area and lots of space and equipment for them to run around and tire themselves out. Should you want to escape into the surrounding countryside, there's plenty to see and do. Although with no direct bus service from the park, you'll need to take a taxi or walk 2.5 miles to the railway station if you want to leave your van on site. Why not make tracks for the Bovington Tank Museum, with more than 300 tanks to view from the First World War onwards? And for kids young and old, the Monkey World Ape Rescue Centre is a fascinating day out. Corfe Castle is much more than just a piece of history. It's an entire village with lots of pubs and restaurants, and even a couple of art galleries. And the Jurassic Coast, due south of Wareham, is a great place for fossil hunting and searching for gigantic dinosaur bones.
The facilities are clean, tidy and maintained all through summer and winter. Staff are friendly, owners are very friendly, and we would definitely recommend this site to people. Indeed, we have done. In fact, how we like it is the fact that we've been using this site for about 30 years or more.
We would highly recommend it to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, and I don't think this is our favourite.
We really do go all over the country,
yeah.
Scotland, Wales, everywhere. We always come back here though.
Yeah. Because we're always made welcome.
Do not attempt any work on vehicles unless you're competent to do so. Always have safety critical work checked by a suitable qualified professional.
There are several critical components in a motor vehicle. Tyres, most importantly, they're the only bits that should be in contact with the road. Brakes, very important because that's the bit that stops us moving. I always think if you have a problem with an engine or a gearbox, the vehicle may not go very well. But if you have a problem with the brakes, it may not stop very well. And 3 tonnes plus a motorhome is a lot of vehicle to have poor brakes. We've just finished overhauling this one. We've fitted new brake discs and pads. This caliper had partially seized due to the vehicle standing around for long periods of time, no doubt. What's happened is the bottom slide pin has seized up. The caliper has pressed the pads onto the disc under braking, but because of that seized pin, it hasn't released, so it's kept the inner brake pad in hard contact with the back of the disc. They would normally be about the same thickness of material on there. That one's worn down to about 3mm, that one's still got about 10mm of meat on it. So we're replacing those. We've put new discs on because they were worn as well, and we've freed off that caliper pin and lubricated it with some assembly grease. We've also changed the brake fluid on this vehicle. A lot of people forget the brake fluid, but the brake fluid is critical because the brake fluid is the bit that actually applies the force to the caliper. One of the problems with brake fluid is it's hygroscopic. That means it attracts moisture out of the air. The moisture, being heavier than the fluid itself, collects and settles to the lowest part of the system. This is the lowest part of the system. What happens is, when you apply the brakes, they turn motion energy into heat energy. So this gets quite warm under prolonged braking when you're crossing the Pyrenees on the way down to Spain, for example. These will get very, very hot. The fluid can reach way beyond normal boiling point for water. If there's any water present in the brake fluid, it boils, turns to steam. Steam is compressible, you get a spongy pedal. You get a spongy pedal, you press harder on the pedal. You push more energy into the braking system, it gets even hotter, produces more steam, and eventually you end up with no brakes at all. So the back of the truck in front might just stop you if you're lucky. This is the brake fluid we took out of this vehicle. As you can see, it's quite thick and dirty. That's a result of not being changed for years. Typically, brake fluid needs changing every 3 to 4 years because of its hygroscopic nature, but also a lot of that black is broken up bits of seal and carbon in the system. Needs to be taken out because that doesn't help. And this is what brake fluid should look like. A clear, honey-coloured fluid. That's brand new. That'd be good for 3 or 4 years. So that's your braking system. Your technician that's doing the work should, while he's at it, be checking things like brake hoses, checking there's no splits or cracks or that they're twisted or damaged in any way. This is all good. The brake pad wear sensor is connected. That's quite important. On this pad you can see this wire in there. That's connected to the brake sensor. It's just a small sensor embedded in the brake material. When the pad has worn down, that sensor comes into contact with the brake disc, completes an electrical circuit and puts a warning light on the dashboard. That was the first clue that we'd got a problem with this, but due to an annual service, we found it and solved it before it became a real dangerous problem. So that's about it. That's brakes. Important part of the vehicle, they're the bit that stop you. Have them checked annually. Ideally, you'll be having the vehicle serviced annually. If not, at the very least, get your brakes checked and ask the technician or the garage that are doing the work to be sure they take the wheels off and inspect them properly, not just looking through the wheel. Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this week's show. We'll be back soon with some new site and van reviews and some technical wisdom from our expert, Diamond Dave. In the meantime, you can keep in touch with us via our website, Facebook or Twitter. Until next time then, tour safe and take care.
Truma, makers of the combi heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV.